Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is Two Up and Two Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Two Up and Two Down. Today we're discussing the season 9 episode, The Butter Shave. And Chris, we're going to start things off with you this time. What's your first up?
All right, The Butter Shave season 9, one of my favorite seasons. Again, this was written by Berg, Schaefer, and Mandel. First up for The Butter Shave, I'm going to go with the scene with Newman. Like it or not, Jerry and Newman have a great kind of banter. I love Newman's line, "You know, old friends, sometimes I ponder this silly gulf between us, and I say, are we really that different?" And Jerry just cuts him off. "I'm not doing the cooking." And obviously Newman smells the butter, and that leads him upstairs. But that scene, that's old school Seinfeld. It's those two enemies face to face. And again, I think it was some smart writing in there that weaved in, obviously, Newman just thinking about food all the time. So that's my first one up.
All right. Tony, how about you? What do you got for your first up here?
Yeah, I mean, ups were tough to come by in this episode. You know, a lot of my ups are kind of one-offs. I kind of want to say this one. It's such a silly up, though, that I feel like I should give more. All right. Man, this is tough. Honestly, giving ups here is tough. I'm going to give this as my up. It's a silly up. Because be clear here, it's just this is my up. Is Putty just staring at his seat on the plane? I think it's great. Every time I fly, I think of it. Sometimes I even do it. I have no book, no screen. I just stare and I think about Putty, and Elaine's just like, "What are you doing? You're just staring straight at." Yeah. I'm just gonna. That's it. Just sitting on a plane, just staring. I don't know. It fits Putty. We can go back and forth with Putty. Pink Hats love Putty. I'm indifferent, to be honest with you. I think Putty has his ups, Putty has his downs. But I think him just staring on the plane and just being like, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna fucking sit on a plane for hours and just stare." I don't know why. I get a chuckle out of it every time, especially because it pisses Elaine off so much, and he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna stare." That's my thumbs up. Is Putty zoning out while flying home.
I actually wrote that down as a note. I do like it when Putty sits there and just stares straight ahead, and that just irks Elaine. So Tony, I definitely agreed with an up there. All right, Chris, what do you got for your second up here?
Well, that's an up. I can't wait to hear this grade. For me, my other one up is, and I'm consistent with this, after something happens, Jerry and George back at Monk's talking. They think I'm handicapped. They gave me this great office, this great view. Like, they think I'm handicapped, but you told them you're not handicapped. Pretty funny stuff. Again, this is George at the end of the line here, but let's face it, I've always been handicapped. I'm about just getting recognition for it. So solid written lines there that, again, it doesn't elevate the show, but again, it gets back to what the core of the show is, and it's friends having conversations about their life back at their home base, which is Monk. So Jerry and George, after he gets the job, is my second one up.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I always get a chuckle out of that conversation as well. All right, Tony, what do you got for your other up, if you do have one?
Yeah, I mean, O'Hara's really digging for the bottom of the barrel. I mean, that is a couple of good lines there. I'll give you that. It ties back into George's bathroom stuff, so that's always solid. But I think we're scraping barrels here. My next up is the end of this episode is dedicated to Brandon Tartikoff. That's my next up. O'Hara threw, I think one of his ups was the closing credits at one point. I'm throwing in at the end of this episode. It's dedicated to Brandon Tartikoff, who we all know sort of saved Seinfeld. And one of the reasons why it stayed on the air, Jerry credits him. And I think that's going to be my up. Is that the whole episode?
Wow, I thought you were going to throw vegetable lasagna a bone here.
Watch yourself. I got it written down. We're giving grades later, but yeah, no, that's my up. I had to slip it in. I think it's a solid up. I think it works for what we're doing here. Let's pay homage to Tartikoff, and the fact that this episode is dedicated to him. That's going to be my up. That's my second up.
Absolutely. You got to credit the man that, did save Seinfeld or champion for Seinfeld to be on NBC. So let's go to downs now. So it sounds like we're going to have too many downs to choose from, but there's only two. So what do you have for your first, Chris?
Right. This is always difficult. I think there's a couple themes we could throw in here, but I'm going to start with the opening scene. Guys, this episode kicked off season 9, the final season of Seinfeld, and they kick off their final season with this mustache bit. And then I forgot about this because God knows I'm never going to watch this episode again. Is Kramer comes in with the mustache as well to start the second scene. So, the whole vacation from ourselves, it's, we use the expression forced a lot, but this was as gimmicky and cheap as I've seen. It was, listen, I'm not a fan of the cold opens. The core of the show is him doing stand-up, and this just epitomizes it. So the mustache bit for me, huge miss.
So, Chris or Tony, what do you have for your down here?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The whole Holland Dutch thing, that's just the epitome of a bad cold open, just forcing some dumb dialogue that they thought was going to be funny. So many downs to choose from. We're touching on it a lot here, season 9. But my down, O'Hara mentioned Newman earlier. Yes, his little quick line to Jerry about, you already went over it. Sure. But after that, the Newman Kramer stuff with I'm going to eat Kramer and he's a turkey and he's basting him and covered in Parmesan cheese. The whole thing, the epitome of cartoonish, why we dislike season 9 in a nutshell. This is not the Newman we love. This is just silly Newman wanting to eat Kramer because he's buttered up in Parmesan cheese. What are we doing? You might as well just make it a cartoon at that point. Just animate him and just be done with it. That's my down. It is just the Newman Kramer storyline of Kramer just salivating over. Newman salivating over Kramer and wanting to eat him. It ruins Newman for me. Just ruins him. That's my down.
Tony, yeah, like you said, it's not a great Newman episode at all. So, Chris, we'll go to you. What do you got for your down here?
Can't argue that. It's funny. I don't even have Newman on the list as down, so that tells you. That there's a lot more. For me, this scene never sat well. It's just like cheap humor again. It's George with the motorized vehicle. And then first him coming in Jerry's apartment with it. I've never laughed and I won't laugh at that. And then not only that, him getting chased by the other senior citizens. I don't know how that's funny. Help me, America. If he's out there, you think that's funny, great. And then he gets up and picks it up and starts running. What is he running from? 85-year-olds? It's, I don't know. It was disappointing then. It's disappointing now. And it's just, I can't even get over how bad the whole motorized vehicle bit really bothers me to the core. So that's my second one now.
All right. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that as well. So Tony, let's go to you. Your second down to wrap up this segment.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that one too. Obviously, I had it down too. I have enough here that I don't have to take that one. I think Jerry's storyline in this episode is atrocious as well. I'm sorry. I love Banya. Banya had a few lines. I didn't use it as my up. I like Banya picking at some chicks, good looking ones too. Kind of a funny life of Banya. It gives you more of Banya. I'm working out. I'm huge. But other than that, Jerry with the suspenders, Jerry with the stealing the joke, that stupid shark joke that then George says, how does a shark eat jokes? I mean, just so many things to kind of pick out here. But I think generally speaking, it's just Jerry, and we've gone over this a million times, beating a dead horse with this fucking, he's stealing my jokes, he's coming after me, all that kind of stuff, and the suspenders, and how about cancer? Just lands flat for me. I think it's just not funny. That's my down.
Yeah, that whole Jerry bit of him being upset about Banya, was terrible. So let's wrap up this episode of 2 Up and 2 Down for the butter shave with the grades. And Chris, we're going to start with you. What do you got here?
Yeah, I mentioned a lot of downs there. One down we didn't mention was Elaine and Putty, which may have been the biggest down. The whole back and forth, them in Europe, let's break up, let's get back together, vegetable lasagna. Enough already. We get it. And this gets beaten throughout the year in season 9. This just kicks it off. Just Elaine at her worst. Let's be honest. I mean, season 9 Elaine is not strong at all. There's not even moments, but this episode there were no moments. So for me, not many ups. Some decent lines here and there. Tidbits of the connection of Jerry and George, but for me, the butter shave, it's an F.
So Tony, we're interested in what you have to say. I'm probably seeing an F here too.
So one line I didn't mention, I gotta throw out there. I love when Jerry just throws out his shoelace because it touched the bathroom floor. It's on brand for Jerry. It's kind of a funny line. Think about that a lot when my shoelace touches the floor of a bathroom. But besides the point, when you're pulling out those one-liners and trying to find ups, you're in trouble. I think O'Hara's point on Elaine is spot on. I wrote this down. When did Elaine become this mean-spirited, I'm this bad woman who's mad and, she's coming home in a body bag, Kramer says, and all she's doing is yelling at Putty. This whole, if you want to talk, O'Hara, Chris talks about this all the time, the through line, Kramer and Jerry kind of stay true to their character. Elaine is the one character who completely changes. I mean, she always goes from cutesy Elaine to kind of fun-loving Elaine, kind of having her funny Van Wyck lines and here and there. So all of a sudden, she's this mean, calculated businesswoman who hates everyone and in a body bag and all that stuff. Yes, I know George has said Elaine scares me at times early on, but too much on Elaine on this one. Vegetable lasagna, one line from vegetable lasagna, I'll take, 17 minutes of it is a little too much. I give the butter shave a D- though. I didn't go as far as an F. I think there's a lot of Fs. I think I might have thrown a lot of Fs around already. I think this one I'm landing at a D-. I can't really explain why. I don't have a lot of.
Do you watch it if it's on?
No, I do not. But that doesn't mean I don't want D-minuses when they're on. I mean, we're not. I mean, what are we? We're splitting hairs here. We're talking. I mean, I'm only giving it a D- because I forgot about the D- grade when I've given other episodes Fs, and I forgot that there's this D- area where we're talking about a 63, 62, right? You didn't go. You're not at a 65, right? So are we an F? I got a couple of questions right on the test, so it's not an F. It's a D-. I think, I'm not arguing an F, but I'm also, I'm not going to go there on this one. I'll let it slide. I'll give it a D-. We got Tartikoff as that's one of my ups. The Putty on the plane stuff, it's bad, yes, but it will give you a chuckle here. The one part, now that you got me going here, the one part I will say is, what the hell is Elaine calling Jerry on the phone from the plane? That, to me, was the ultimate complete down and ruined Elaine, ruined that scene, and that's when it all fucking tanked. But that said, D- is the grade for the butter shave for me.
So again, we thank both of you for your opinions and grades on the 2 Up and 2 Down of the Butter Shave, and we'll see everybody on the next one.